Hey everyone, how's it going? So today we're going to be doing something a little different. Today we're going to be taking a look at who is the stronger character between ARISA and SUZUNA. With that being said, I have made a spreadsheet. I'm going to link it in the description, and I'm also going to go over it in this video. So if you don't want to hear me talk during the video, you can just take a look at the spreadsheet that I made, and you guys can just scroll through and see for yourself who's better, I guess, if you want. But I'd really appreciate it if you did watch the video, because it would mean a lot to me. And with that being said, we'll take a look right at the spreadsheet. Let's pull it up right now. So here's the spreadsheet that I have made. It has taken me over about 3.5 hours to 4 hours to collect all of this data and to gather it into one specific spot. So here it is. This is all the data, and I'm going to go over each and every spot. I'm going to talk about the notes that I left, as well as other stuff. So this is definitely a kind of full comparison between the two characters. So with that being said, let's jump right into it without wasting any more time. Here we go. It's going to be SUZUNA versus ARISA, level 86, max refinement rank 8, bond level 8, as of the April 10th, 2021, and it's all against the level 50 Alma boss and the Little Lyrical event hard boss. You guys don't know what that boss is. If we're going to head right over into the event thing, and you'll notice it'll be the hard mode boss right here. It's going to be the level 50 Alma. This is the only way I was able to consistently fight against a boss without having multiple phases, so it was easier to kind of do it off of this level 50 Alma. That being said, let's jump right back into the spreadsheet. Alright, so to start it off, I'm going to be having SUZUNA, obviously, with her guaranteed crits. It's going to be ARISA with none of her crits, ARISA with her crits active, and then it's going to be the overall winner. It's going to be mostly like that for every single one, and with that being said, we're going to jump right into it. So, the first thing is, the green is basically whoever wins. Green is for the winner, red is for the loser, and then yellow is tying. And then whenever there's going to be SUZUNA and ARISA winning in separate occasions, SUZUNA will be blue and ARISA will be green. So yeah, let's jump right in it. So the first Union Burst, SUZUNA with her crit is going to be hitting for 21,000, and then ARISA with no crits is going to be 9,000. And you'll notice that basically I'm not going to go over every single number, but we have the second Union Burst. Obviously, we have to do the second Union Burst because ARISA gets stronger after he does her first one. So then we have Makoto with ×1 defensive down. ×1 defensive down here is just going to be Makoto's passive defense shred only. It's not going to be including her Union Burst. It's only going to be her passive when she does her little scream at them, and it lowers their defense. That is going to be the ×1. Of course, the UB defense down is going to be Makoto with her only UB down defense. Then it's going to be Makoto's passive defense shred plus the Nozomi's ultimate. And then it's going to be Makoto's ×2 defense. It's going to be both the Makoto passive and the Union Burst being active at the same time. As we can see, SUZUNA's numbers are constantly going up. She peaks from 45,000 down to 21,000. ARISA with no crits peaks from 37,000 down to 9,000 with no crits. ARISA with crits, of course, is going to be peaking at 74,000 and then low peak at 18,000. And the overall winner here I'm going to have is SUZUNA, as she beats ARISA at some places where she's even critting, she beats her, but that's usually when she's doing her first Union Burst, which is kind of weird. Some spots she's beating her, some spots she isn't, so it's a little interesting how that works, but SUZUNA is going to take the overall raw Union Burst. Moving on, next we have the average Union Burst uptime. It's going to be measured by the amount of time it takes from the game in the in-game clock between Union Bursts with the following characters. So that being said, is the in-game clock, whenever the round starts, there's going to be a minute and 30-second clock, and whenever I launch that first Union Burst from the minute 30 is going to be the first one, then the second one after is going to be continuing on from whenever that time was started. Here we go, the first Union Burst was going to be 25 seconds with SUZUNA. ARISA is going to be 16 seconds. Oh, also a thing to note is it's going to be versus stage 9-3 hard, and that's going to be everything down here, all the DPS, the damage over time, all that is going to be versus stage 9-3 hard. Also, we're going to notice that it's going to be only ×1 defense down shred. That's going to be for everything else down here. All the calculations are done with only the passive skill of Makoto's defense down. That's it. There's not going to be any Nozomi Universe thrown in there. It's just this. This is all the calculations are done off of this only. With that being said, the second Universe only took 10 seconds for SUZUNA, as it took actually 11 seconds for ARISA, so SUZUNA takes that one. And then it's going to be the start of the second fight, 25 seconds, and the end at 16 seconds at the start of the third fight, and then 18 seconds as the final Union Burst. Now, SUZUNA, as you can see, it says NA here, is because SUZUNA, at the end of the fight, she only had 5 Union Bursts before the fight ended, and then ARISA, it took 9 Union Bursts before the fight ended. Obviously, the total time ARISA takes this here, without a doubt. They did tie at one point. SUZUNA did beat it by 1 at another point, but ARISA did take the better time, and the overall average Union Burst time for SUZUNA is going to be 18.8 seconds, And then the average universe time for Arisa is going to be 12.7 seconds, which means Arisa is going to take this one. Moving on, we have defense. Now, this is very self-explanatory. I don't have to go over it. The physical and magical defense for SUZUNA are going to be 111. Arisa's going to have 98, 118. SUZUNA is going to be in terms of physical defense. Arisa is going to take magical defense. Overall defense, of course, SUZUNA is going to have 111 overall. And then Arisa is going to have 108 overall, so SUZUNA is going to take the overall defense win right there. Moving on down, we have overall damage over time. Now, this one was a little bit difficult to calculate along with the DPS one. This one was really confusing because I didn't know if I messed anything up. But to get into it, we have the 5 Union Burst from SUZUNA. It's going to be doing 117,000. And then Arisa with no crits is going to be doing 83,576. So in terms of damage over time, this is going to be self-explanatory. As you can see, after the 9th Union Burst, Arisa is going to be doing over 154,000 damage. With crits, she's going to be doing over 300,000 damage, which means Arisa is going to take this one. I counted this one as a tie because Arisa without crits, well, Arisa with crits is more, and SUZUNA is guaranteed critting, which is why I gave this one edge to Arisa, because she took this final one as a tie on the top one. The reason why that she is only on the same number is because the fight had ended after SUZUNA's 5th Union Burst, which is why that the number stays the same here. So that means that during that fight, Arisa actually did more damage for me than SUZUNA did. Even with her guaranteed crits and all that stuff, she did more damage over time. Moving on, we have DPS. This is going to be the overall Union Burst DPS. You'll see the calculation equation if you want to look at here. It's going to be the average seconds times the Union Burst plus Makoto's times 1 defensive shred. It's going to be 442,326.4 average overall DPS. Moving on to Arisa with no crits, she's going to be having only 227,326 overall DPS, no crits. And then with crits, she's going to take the win here with 454,653 with all crits. All of them have to be crits in order for her to beat SUZUNA in terms of DPS and how fast, burst damage she can do. Kind of this one as a tie, and this one was a little confusing because 9 Union Burst, she stays the same, right? Number stays the same because the battles conclude after SUZUNA's 5th Union Burst, right? But then I was confused because she actually lost DPS here, which was a little interesting to me. And I think the reason why is because when they have the start of the battle, I had to calculate that start of the battle as only her 1st Union Burst, which means I had to take the 12,000 number rather than the 19,000 number for the crits. Which means that I guess that makes sense why it would be lower. And the overall DPS with the crits was also lower, which means SUZUNA takes the overall DPS score. Moving on, this is going to be the overall conclusion of who is better between SUZUNA versus Arisa. Now, it's going to be very anticlimactic because you think SUZUNA is kicking her ass here in terms of damage, but you'll see why I'd say this is a tie. So let's go over it right here. UB raw damage, obviously SUZUNA is going to take the overall raw damage of the Union Burst. She's going to be way more consistent. Arisa is going to take the UB uptime score in terms of having the fastest Union Burst uptime. Of course, 12.7 seconds is much faster than 18.8 seconds. In terms of defense, I had SUZUNA. Of course, SUZUNA is going to take the overall defense. Moving on, we have the overall damage over time, and it's going to be taken by Arisa. As we can see, she has the overall damage over time after the 9th, or after basically 6 Union Bursts, or 7. She's going to have the overall damage over time, and even if you get 1 or 2 criticals, you're going to be doing way more damage. And then, of course, moving on, we have DPS. SUZUNA takes the DPS score. Obviously, they tied, and then SUZUNA took this one, so SUZUNA is going to take the overall DPS. And then highest damage potential is going to go to Arisa. As you can tell, DPS is pretty important, yes, but this is in terms of burst damage. This isn't actually the go-to. I think the one you should be looking at is going to be the overall DOT, which is the damage over time, which is going to be probably the most important, and the amount of seconds, I think, is why I gave Arisa the edge here in terms of the highest damage potential, because if we take a look here, 117 compared to 309,000 is over double what SUZUNA does, so that's why I kind of gave Arisa the highest damage ceiling potential in terms of that. So Arisa definitely takes that one. And then the final one is going to be skill usefulness. And I put a note here that says Arisa has the ability to lower enemy action speed, saving her frontline from damage, which is why she wins here. If we take a look here at their skills, you'll notice that Arisa is going to deal a decent amount of damage. It's going to attack the highest magical attacker, which is very useful, and it's going to reduce their action speed. So this is going to be really useful against highest magical attackers. So it is actually a very, very useful ability. And of course, the skill of regenerating your own TP, and then after using your TP burst, recovering your own TP is extremely broken. Her skills definitely win over our girl SUZUNA, who SUZUNA does her guaranteed crit on her mini missile, but all she does for her other skill and her EX skill is boost her own physical attack, which is not helping the team at all. It's only kind of boosting up herself, as where ARISA is helping the team by attacking Magil attackers, reducing their action speed, and then of course giving herself her own TP regeneration. Which is why I went ahead and gave ARISA the edge there in terms of the skill usefulness. So that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I have a link to this Google Doc spreadsheet down in the description. Thank you everyone for watching. I'm going to give this a tie, as SUZUNA and ARISA are pretty much a tie in terms of characters. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, guys. Peace out.